Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a seasoned viewer, then thank you for returning. This week we're going to have a little trip through my eyeshadow palette collection. There's a couple of other palettes in there as well that aren't just eyeshadows, but I thought everyone else does it, I might as well do a palette collection video as well. So please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and we'll dive straight in. Now, a lot of people I know have those IKEA drawers where they keep all their eyeshadow palettes, but I haven't got room for any of those. So what my husband did was he put up on the wall a couple of nail varnish display racks, and I keep my palettes in those up on the wall so they're easy to get. There's a couple that I keep on the side, which are my Mitchell palette and my KVD palette, because they're too big to fit in, but everything else fits up on the wall up there, and I'll show you a picture of that. Starting off with the most colourful things, I think, I've got two BH Cosmetics palettes. One is Take Me Back to Brazil, the Rio edition, and one is called Aurora Lights. Now, when I got the Take Me Back to Brazil palette, I was so overcome with excitement at buying it that I hadn't checked, but every single pan in it is shimmer, and they're tiny as well. So I think I probably would rather have gotten the actual Take Me Back to Brazil matte palette, but you know. The Aurora palette, on the other hand, is a dedicated shimmer palette with the most gorgeous shades, and I really enjoy using that one. Some of the greens and purples in there are just gorgeous. I've got my Jeffree Star Beauty Killer palette, and I know that's quite a controversial choice of palette to have, but again, I got it quite a long time ago, before he was a subject of such drama and cancel culture, so I still keep it because the eyeshadows aren't dramatic and controversial, it's just him. I also have my lovely KVD, or as it was at the time, Kat Von D Fetish Blush and Highlighter palette, and this absolutely gorgeous thing. The blushes are lovely. I can't really use the sort of orangey peachy toned one because it doesn't go with my skin tone, but the pinky purpley ones are lovely. I'm wearing the dark pink blush today, and I absolutely love that palette, and I'm really happy that I got that one. From Beauty Bay, I of course have my Me, Myself and Mama Mitchell palette, which Make Me Up Misser made me buy, and boy am I glad I did. It really is a superb palette. Gorgeous colours, warm and cool, shimmers and mattes. The only thing that I can say, being nitpicky about it, is that the mirror in the middle of the palette, if it was fixed in, it would be so much easier to work with, because it comes out and it's a bit of a pain. If you've ever seen it, or if you've got it yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about. The other Beauty Bay palette I have is the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. Again, Missa made me buy it, but it's gorgeous. It's got wonderful shades that can blend out almost any colour that you might be using, so highly recommend. Even if you only ever usually use bold colours, it's very worth having. Moving along to my Sample Beauty palette, it's the Hydrographic palette. So it's all greens and blues and purples, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It really is worth getting. So if you were wanting something with sort of deep sea tones or jewel tones, and you didn't want a palette that was too big or had too many colours that you weren't going to use, highly recommend Sample Beauty Hydrographic palette. Unique Beauty is a brand that I would also highly recommend. I've got two of their little Status Quo palettes. One is called, let me look it up, Dark Souls, and that's a sort of green and gold, but mainly green. And one is called Drama Queen, which is purple and pink. And all their little palettes in that collection have 5 colours: dark, matte, one glitter, and they are beautiful, really easy to work with, very travel friendly. They are quite fragile, I'll say that about them, because mine, when I got the Dark Souls one through the post, one of the colours had actually just died and crumbled into nothing in the post, so they are quite fragile, but they are beautiful. And the other palette I have from Unique Beauty is called Jewels, because of the jeweled colours in it, and because it's a collaboration rather with a beautiful makeup artist called Giulianna, who I will link somewhere on the screen. She's a YouTuber, and the colours in this, I mean, there's a blue sort of shimmery, magical, purpley, oh, there's a colour in there, it's everything. It's very well worth having a look at that if it's still available. I also have a palette by Pretty Little Palettes called the Vampy one, which I don't know how I got hold of it or where I got it from. I know I ordered it from online somewhere, but it's not a brand that I've really seen very much about. I just saw it when I was starting out and thought, that sounds like something I would use. I haven't really used it that much, I have to say. I've got a video about it, which I can link, I hope, and you might want to have a look at that, because the colours really are very, very pigmented in that little palette. I've also got a Smashbox Cover Shot Sunlit Yellow palette, which I think it's quite expensive to buy, but which I found brand new and unopened in an Oxfam shop for £3.99, I think it was. So I rarely use it, but it's got a beautiful yellow in it, and Smashbox, good quality, usually very expensive, so had to get it. I've also got 2 sleek palettes. My second Solstice palette, which is brand new, untouched. Solstice palette, goes without saying, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And there's a blush palette as well, which I'm still not sure about. It's very orangey, peachy, so I'm hoping I'll be able to gift that to somebody, because I haven't really used it at all. I might have swatched it now and again going, can I use this? But that's all I've done to it, so I like to give that to somebody one day. I've also got the Technic Smoky palette, which is another one that Missa made me buy, and it's perfect if you haven't got the money or the inclination to buy the Jeffree Star Chromated palette. This little Technic palette that you can buy on Amazon, I think it's £2 something or £2, or very, very, very inexpensive. You don't need the Chromated palette if you've got that. I was also given by a good friend at my work her MUA Tropical Oceana palette, which sort of was a forerunner for my pastels palette, because there's some lovely pastel blending shades in there. MUA, I used to buy a lot of their singles, but they don't really do the colours I like anymore, so I've stopped looking at their colours too much. But this Oceana palette has actually got quite a lot of nice colours in it, so now and again I do use it for blending out other colours. I've got my magnetic palette with a few singles in it. It's got some high-end and drugstore singles in it. It's got some sample beauty singles in it, which I save for best, and the Revolution singles that are in there as well brings me on to talking about my Revolution palettes. I've got 4 at the moment. I used to have tons, but over the few years that I have been make-upping, as it were, seriously, I've got rid of quite a few of them. I've got the Give Them Darkness palette, which is my second one of those. I really enjoy that palette. There's some really gorgeous dark colours in there. I've got my Reloaded Euphoria palette, which was a gift from Enigma Reviews, if any of you know her on YouTube. I've got my Revolution Reloaded Blackout palette, which is also very good as a stand-in for Cremated. And I've got my Regeneration Mischief Mattes palette, which is a really, really good palette if you're just starting out and you want all the colours there are and you don't want to spend too much money. So that's worth having as well. I have two Makeup Obsession palettes. One is the Halloween Creep It Real palette, which I got, I think it was last year, but they've got it out again this year. And there's some very good colours in there. But the one that I much prefer is the Intoxicated with Love palette, which I got after seeing my dear friend Heavy Metal Mama using hers. And it really is a gorgeous palette for sort of smoky, dark, it's not a bright, there's two reds in there, they're not bright red, they're just sort of lovely gothy reds, which is what we like. So a quick trip then around my palette collection. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you want to see more of this sort of thing, and I could, you know, do brushes or lipsticks or single eyeshadows or pigments, anything like that. Thank you again for watching, and please stay well and safe everybody, and stay strange. Bye for now.